Hi everyone and welcome back, and in this video we're going to talk about the questions you need to ask yourself before you invest into cryptocurrencies. Because most of the time people just invest into cryptocurrencies. They don't ask you some questions, some really good questions. And I know Tony Robbins said, right, the quality of your life will come down to the quality of the questions you ask yourself. So I would say, don't quote me on this, but the quality of the question you ask of yourself will lead to better trading and investing, and especially when it comes to the financial markets. So why don't we start? So the first question I would ask myself in this is, what exchange should you be using when you start to trade and invest with cryptocurrencies? Well, that's a great question. I'm glad you asked. That question is good because most people actually use shady exchanges that are not regulated, or maybe they're not regulated but they're very small, right? And maybe they're a scam even. So if something sounds too good to be true, it usually is. So if you have an exchange that promises you huge returns, they're going to trade on your behalf, or they have a robot, it could actually be a scam. Instead, Google your country and the best exchanges to use. Could be Coinbase, could be Binance, Huobi, FTX, Bittrex, Qcoin. You Google it and whatever works in your country, awesome. But I know for a fact that Coinbase is even listed on the stock market, so I'm happy to use that. But I'm not happy to use something I never heard of that is very tiny and small. Does that make sense? So that's the first question, and that's a really good quality question, because a lot of people, by asking that question, by the way, could save you hundreds of thousands. We have had clients losing, well, before they were clients, really important to highlight, that lost tens of thousands because they didn't ask this question. Second question I would ask myself is, all right, so great, I have an exchange, but what strategy are you using? So what strategy will you be using here? And in order to answer that question, you need to ask yourself, how much do you look to make? Do you want to make 100% a year? Do you want to make 200% a year? Or is it enough with 10% a year maybe? Well, if 10% a year is enough, then you can use something called the dollar cost averaging, DCA, which means you're investing the same amount each month. So if you have 100,000, you invest maybe 1,000 a month, right? You just keep doing that. And every time you get a salary in, right, every month you get new money is coming in. And then you put a little bit in each month. That's dollar cost averaging. Most of you do it in your pension funds. But if you want to have 100% a year, you need to do something more. For example, we use CCA and small cap, which means we identify a high and then we invest as the market comes down. On average, we're probably going to make 150 to 200% a year. Yes, some month we will lose when it goes down, but as long as crypto keeps going up, as it has for the last 10, 11 years, since inception, we will be fine, right? And we will get a really good average price since we invest more money as it goes down as well, which is awesome. So that's what we're looking for. But then, of course, if you want to do trading, you need to ask yourself some different questions. So with a strategy, you need to know how much you are going to invest, when are you going to enter, how much of your account are you going to risk, when are you selling with a profit, and when are you selling with a loss. You need to answer all of those questions before you can invest. Good questions, right? Why is no one asking these? All right, so that's question number 2. What strategy are you going to use? And then a question can be, all right, so I have the exchange. I know what I want from a strategy. And by the way, make sure also, I think there's going to be a link here to investment-master.com/compounding, where you can actually calculate for yourself the plan. If you want to make a 3% a month, great, let's put that in and see what happens. So you can really do that and then create a plan for the next 15 years for you. We created that for you so you can do those calculations. When you've done that and you have a strategy, you think, okay, I want to do something like this, right? But I don't really have a strategy. Well, then before you get started, get an education. So what education should you be getting, and what questions can you be asking? So the first thing I would ask, okay, how long have they been doing this? Are they experts in the field? To give you an example, Investment Master has been doing this for the last 14, 15, I think it's soon 16 years even. Marcus, the chairman, has been doing this for 20 years. So the question is, do you want to be learning from someone like that, or would you rather learn from someone who has been doing this for a month and has a robot? You ask yourself that question. And the other question you want to ask yourself with the education is, does it sound too good to be true, or does it really make sense? If someone promises you huge returns without doing any work, usually it's too good to be true. There's everything worthwhile in life does involve a certain level of work as well. All right. So you need to know the exchange. You need to know the strategy you're using, and then ask yourself the questions about the education, so you don't fall into any traps. For me, for example, I started with no education, lost 70% of my account, find markets and investment mastery, and now I can live out of my trading and investing. You can see a video I recorded where I turned 1,000 into over 100,000 and even more eventually, but in a few years. And I believe everyone can do this as well. All right, so that's one question. And then another question you can ask yourself is, okay, but how about the community, Dennis? Where can I find these people? I mean, YouTube is a great place to start. You can even go into, we have a community ourselves, which is a Facebook group you can join for free, which is the I Am Insider, where you can start building a community and network with like-minded people. For me, I moved to UK to really be surrounded by this energy, which really propelled me and my financial future as well. So depending on your goals and outcomes, make sure you do that as well. That's a really quick way of getting into the energy and learning this properly as well. So you can ask yourself some more questions, but I think this is a really good foundation. So I really hope you enjoyed this video, and make sure write these questions down and answer them, and we would love to support you in answering them as well. And if you have any questions, any more questions, right, comment below. Comment your question below, and we would love to support you in that as well. So don't forget to like the video. Also subscribe to the channel if you like this kind of content. And not only that, make sure that you press the alarm bell so you get notifications on whenever we're releasing a new video. I hope you enjoyed this, and I cannot wait to see you in the next video.